My chosen one, pause for a moment, because what you are about to hear is not ordinary, and it is not something you can afford to ignore. There is a message moving through the spiritual realm right now, and it carries a weight so urgent, so serious, that even the heavens are trembling with anticipation. This is not a coincidence. You did not come across this by chance. You were guided here because time, as you know it, is running out. Archangel Michael is speaking, and his voice is not soft in this moment. It is firm. It is commanding. It is filled with a divine urgency that cannot be delayed any longer. He is saying that August 2nd is not just another date on your calendar. It is a line drawn in the unseen realm, a deadline that has been set, a moment where decisions will carry consequences that echo far beyond what you can see. There are people right now who will scroll past this message, thinking they will return later, thinking they have more time. But what they do not realize is that this message is time-sensitive. It is alive. It is meant for this exact moment. And if it is ignored, something begins to close, something sacred, something powerful, something that has been waiting to respond to your prayers. You have been praying. You have been waiting. You have been hoping for answers, for signs, for movement. And yet, there has been silence. There has been delay. You have wondered why nothing seems to shift, why doors remain shut, why breakthroughs feel just out of reach. But listen carefully, because this is where everything changes. Archangel Michael reveals that it is not that your prayers have been unheard. It is not that heaven has ignored you. It is that something critical has not yet aligned. And now, this moment, this very message, is the key to that alignment. But the window to receive it is not open forever. Feel this deeply. There is a countdown happening, not in seconds you can measure, but in spiritual timing that is just as real. August 2nd marks a turning point, a dividing line. On one side, there is access, response, and breakthrough. On the other side, there is delay, silence, and missed opportunity. And the difference between the two is whether you receive and act on what is being revealed right now. This is why the warning is so direct. This is why the message carries such intensity. Because once this window closes, it does not reopen in the same way. The opportunity shifts. These of connection changes. And what could have been released freely may require much more later. Do not let fear take over, but do not ignore the urgency either. You are not being warned to scare you. You are being called because you are chosen to hear this before it is too late. There is still time, but not as much as you think. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, as a warrior, and as a messenger in this moment. And his message is clear. Pay attention now. Do not delay. What you do next matters more than you realize. Something powerful is about to be revealed, something that explains everything you have been experiencing. Listen closely, because what is unfolding is not random, and it is not something that happens often. There are moments in time when the physical world and the spiritual realm come into alignment in a way that creates a gateway, an opening where what has been delayed can suddenly move, where what has been silent can suddenly speak. August 2nd is one of those rare moments. It carries a spiritual weight that many will overlook. But those who are aware, those who are listening now, will understand that this is not an ordinary day. It is a divine intersection. From the unseen realm, Archangel Michael is revealing that cycles are completing. Long-standing spiritual patterns that have been operating in your life are reaching their end. You may have felt this without understanding it. An unusual pressure, a sense that something is shifting, a quiet feeling that things cannot continue the same way any longer. That is because they won't. This date marks the closing of one spiritual chapter and the opening of another. But here is the truth that many fail to realize. When one door closes and another opens, there is always a moment in between where a choice must be made. A choice is not always loud or obvious. It does not come with flashing signs or clear instructions in the physical world. Instead, it comes like this, through a message, through a sudden awareness, through a pull in your spirit that tells you to pay attention. And right now, that is exactly what is happening. You are being positioned at that moment of decision. You are being shown what others are missing. Archangel Michael is not only a protector, he is also a guardian of divine timing. He sees what is ahead. He sees what is being prepared for you. And he also sees the obstacles that have tried to delay you, confuse you, or keep you from stepping into what has already been written for your life. That is why his message carries urgency, because he knows that this alignment on August 2nd is an opportunity, a narrow window where resistance can be broken, where answers can finally come through, and where your prayers can move from waiting into manifestation. Think about the past few weeks, or even the past few months. Have you noticed patterns repeating? Delays that make no sense. Situations that almost resolve but then suddenly stop. These are not coincidences. These are signs of a cycle that has been holding you in place. But cycles do not last forever. They reach a point where they either break or they repeat again at a deeper level. August 2nd is that breaking point. But here is the part that must be understood clearly. Alignment is not automatic. Just because the moment exists does not mean everyone will step into it. Some will miss it because they are distracted. Some will ignore it because they doubt. And some will delay, thinking there will be another chance just like this. But Archangel Michael is making it clear. This moment is unique. It carries a level of access that is not easily repeated. There is also something else happening beneath the surface. A spiritual recalibration. Energy is shifting. What once felt heavy is beginning to loosen. What once felt blocked is beginning to open, but only for those who are aware and willing to respond. This is why you are hearing this now. You are not being left in the dark. You are being given insight ahead of time so you can prepare, so you can align, so you can step into what is already being released. Do not underestimate this. The unseen realm operates with precision. Dates, moments, alignments, they all carry meaning. And August 2nd is marked. It is highlighted. It is set apart. Archangel Michael stands at this moment like a guardian at a gate, watching who will approach with awareness and who will pass by without recognizing what was offered. This is your moment to recognize it. This is your moment to understand that something greater is unfolding, and you are being invited into it. But the invitation will not remain open forever. There is something you need to understand right now, something that may change the way you see everything you have been going through. The silence you have been experiencing, the delays, the feeling that your prayers are not being answered. It is not because heaven has turned away from you. It is not because you are unworthy. And it is certainly not because your voice has not been heard. The truth is far deeper, and it carries a weight that many are not prepared to face. Archangel Michael is revealing that there has been a silent blockage, an unseen resistance that has been standing between your prayers and their manifestation. This blockage is not always obvious. It does not announce itself loudly. Instead, it works quietly, subtly, influencing your timing, your clarity, your decisions. It creates just enough delay to make you question, just enough confusion to make you hesitate, and just enough distance to make you feel disconnected. You may have noticed it without realizing what it was. Moments where you felt ready to move forward, but something held you back. Times when you were about to take action, but doubt suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Situations where everything seemed aligned, only for something unexpected to interrupt the flow. These are not random events. They are signs of interference, spiritual resistance that has been attempting to keep you from stepping fully into what has already been prepared for you. But here is where everything shifts. This message you are hearing right now is not just information. It is intervention. It is a direct interruption of that blockage. Archangel Michael is stepping in, not just to warn you, but to reveal what hath been hidden so it can no longer control your path. Because once you become aware of something, it begins to lose its power over you. The most important truth you must hear is this: the blockage has been allowed to remain because something within you is not yet aligned. This is not about blame. It is about awareness. Sometimes, even without realizing it, we hold on to fear, doubt, hesitation, or patterns that keep us slightly out of alignment with what God is trying to release. And that slight misalignment is all the resistance needs to remain in place. This is why timing matters so much. This is why August 2nd is being marked so clearly. Because this is the moment where that alignment can finally happen. This is the moment where what has been blocking you can be removed, but only if you recognize it and respond. Archangel Michael is not asking you to be perfect. He is asking you to be aware, to see clearly what has been holding you back, to release what no longer serves you, to step into a place of trust, even if it feels unfamiliar. Because the moment you do that, something powerful begins to happen. The resistance weakens. The blockage starts to break. And what once felt impossible begins to move. There is also something else you must understand. The longer this blockage remains, the more it conditions you to accept delay as normal. It teaches you to lower your expectations, to settle for less, to believe that waiting endlessly is just part of your journey. But that is not the truth. You were never meant to live in constant delay. You were never meant to feel cut off from answers. And you were never meant to carry the weight of unanswered prayers without understanding why. This is your moment of clarity. This is where the silence begins to make sense. And this is where it can finally end. But you must not ignore this. Because awareness without action changes nothing. And this moment, this exact moment, is where the shift begins. If you feel this message deep within you, if something inside you is recognizing the truth of what is being said, then respond. Type "I receive divine alignment" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 639 is now activated over your life. And as this revelation settles into your spirit, understand this: when you choose to respond to a divine message like this, you are not just listening, you are participating in something greater. I feel led to speak this directly. When you take a step to support this mission, you are helping this very light reach someone else who is still trapped in that silence, still waiting for clarity. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." This is not just a verse. It is a living promise being spoken over you right now. And I know, in this moment, you may feel a pull in your spirit saying, "I want to be part of this." That is not by accident. That is your obedience being awakened. Every seed you sow through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, even through the QR code placed before you, becomes a river that carries this message to souls who are still searching. Do not delay this prompting. Move as you are being led. Because as you release, heaven responds. And as you give, you open a door not only for others, but for your own breakthrough to accelerate. Pay attention to this moment, because what you are about to recognize may have already been unfolding in your life without you fully understanding it. The signs have been there, quiet at first, subtle, easy to dismiss. But now, as Archangel Michael is revealing, those signs are becoming louder, more persistent, and impossible to ignore. This is not by accident. This is intentional. This is the final phase of a warning that has been trying to reach you before it is too late. Think back carefully. There have been patterns repeating in your life, situations that seem to circle back no matter how much you try to move forward. You solve one issue, and another appears that feels strangely familiar. You take a step ahead, only to feel pulled back again. This is not simply bad luck or coincidence. This is a signal. It is a spiritual indication that something deeper has been unresolved, something that requires your attention now more than ever. You may have also felt an unusual heaviness lately. Not just physical tiredness, but an emotional and spiritual weight that is difficult to explain. Moments where your energy feels drained without reason. Times when your mind becomes clouded, making even simple decisions feel overwhelming. This heaviness is not meant to break you. It is meant to alert you. It is a sign that something is pressing against your alignment, something that cannot continue as it has been. And then there are the quiet nudges, the thoughts that come out of nowhere, the sudden urge to pause, to reflect, to question what is happening around you. These are not random thoughts. These are impressions being placed within your spirit. Archangel Michael often communicates in this way, not through loud interruptions, but through gentle yet persistent guidance that calls you to awareness. But the danger lies in how easily these nudges can be ignored. There have also been dreams. Perhaps you remember them clearly, or perhaps they fade quickly when you wake. But they leave behind a feeling, a sense that something important was being shown to you. These dreams are not meaningless. They are another layer of communication, another attempt to reach you when your mind is quiet and open. They carry symbols, messages, and warnings that are meant to prepare you for what is coming. What is most important to understand is this: the signs increase in intensity when they are not acknowledged. What begins as a whisper becomes a nudge. What begins as a nudge becomes a push. And what begins as a push can eventually become a disruption if it is still ignored. Not because you are being punished, but because the message must be delivered. The urgency must be felt. Archangel Michael is making it clear that you are in that moment now. The signs are no longer gentle suggestions. They are direct calls to attention. They are pointing you toward something that cannot be delayed any longer. And if they are ignored at this stage, the consequences are not just continued delay. They are misalignment at a critical moment. This is where many people make a mistake. They wait for something dramatic, something undeniable, something that forces them to act. But spiritual guidance does not always work that way. It requires awareness. It requires trust. It requires you to respond before the situation becomes overwhelming. Because by the time it becomes overwhelming, the window for easy alignment may have already begun to close. You are not being left without guidance. In fact, you are being guided more clearly now than ever before. The repetition, the heaviness, the nudges, the dreams, they are all pieces of the same message. They are all pointing in one direction. And that direction is toward a decision that must be made before the moment passes. Do not dismiss what you have been feeling. Do not brush aside what you have been noticing. There is a reason it keeps returning. There is a reason it feels stronger now. It is because time is narrowing, and the message must reach you fully. Archangel Michael stands present in this moment, not to bring fear, but to bring clarity. To show you that what you are experiencing has meaning, that it is not random, that it is leading you somewhere important. But whether you follow that direction, that choice is still yours. There is something deeper happening around you, something that goes beyond what your eyes can see or your mind can fully explain. You may have felt it without being able to put it into words, a tension, a resistance, a sense that something is opposing your progress even when you are doing everything you can to move forward. This is not your imagination. This is the hidden battle that Archangel Michael is now bringing into the light. Every destiny carries weight. Every purpose carries value. And because of that, there are forces that do not want you to fully step into what has been prepared for you. This is not meant to create fear within you, but awareness. Because once you understand that there is a battle, you stop blaming yourself for every delay, every setback, every unexpected obstacle that appears at the very moment things seem ready to shift. Think about the times when you were closest to a breakthrough. Moments when something finally started to move in your favor, when hope began to rise, when you felt like you were about to step into something new. And then suddenly, something happened. A distraction, a delay, a problem that pulled your attention away. It felt like the timing was perfect, and then it slipped away just as quickly. These moments are not random. They are often the clearest signs that you were approaching something significant. Archangel Michael is known as a warrior, a protector, one who stands against forces that attempt to disrupt divine order. And right now, he is revealing that you have not been left alone in this. Even when you could not see it, there has been protection around you. There has been intervention preventing certain things from going further than they were allowed. But protection does not mean the battle is not real. It means you have been given support while you learn to recognize what is happening. This battle is not about chaos or destruction. It is about delay. It is about keeping you just slightly out of alignment, just uncertain enough, just hesitant enough that you do not fully step into what is available to you. Because full alignment brings movement. Full clarity brings action. And action leads to breakthrough. One of the ways this battle operates is through distraction. You may find yourself focusing on things that do not truly matter, giving your energy to situations that drain you rather than build you. It may feel important in the moment, but later you realize it took you away from something more meaningful. This is not always obvious. It can feel like normal life, like everyday challenges. But when you step back, you begin to see a pattern, your energy being pulled away at the exact times you needed it most. Another way this battle works is through doubt, a quiet voice that questions your decisions, your worth, your direction. It does not shout. It whispers. It plants small uncertainties that grow over time if they are not recognized. And before you know it, you begin to hesitate. You second-guess what you once felt sure about. You delay actions that you once felt ready to take. This is how progress slows without you even realizing why. But here is the truth that changes everything. Once the battle is seen, it loses its advantage. Once you recognize that not every thought is your own, that not every delay is natural, that not every distraction is harmless, you begin to take back control. You begin to move with intention instead of reaction. Archangel Michael is stepping forward now not just as a messenger, but as a defender of your path. He is revealing this battle so that you can stand differently within it. So that you no longer move blindly, but with awareness and strength. Because you were never meant to be overwhelmed by what you cannot see. You were meant to rise above it. And there is something else you must hold on to. The intensity of the resistance often reflects the importance of what is ahead. The closer you are to something significant, the more you may feel that tension. Not as a sign to turn back, but as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. This is why this moment matters so much. Because now you see, now you understand, and now you can choose to respond differently. The battle may still exist, but you are no longer unaware, and that changes everything. Now listen carefully, because this is the moment where everything becomes real. This is not just about understanding what hath been happening. This is about what you must do next. Awareness without action will leave everything exactly as it is. But action, especially in a moment like this, has the power to change everything. Archangel Michael is not only revealing the urgency, he is giving direction. Clear, simple, but powerful steps that must be taken before this spiritual window begins to close. And the first thing you must do is become fully present. You cannot approach this moment distracted, rushed, or uncertain. This requires your full attention, your willingness to pause, to listen, and to respond intentionally. You must begin by creating a moment of stillness. Step away from the noise, even if only for a short time. Quiet your surroundings, quiet your thoughts, and allow yourself to become aware of what is happening within you. Because the guidance you need is not far away. It is already being placed inside your spirit. But it can only be recognized when you are still enough to notice it. Then, you must speak. Not with complicated words or perfect phrases, but with honesty. Open your heart and acknowledge what you have been feeling. The delays, the confusion, the uncertainty. Bring it all forward without holding back. This is not about saying the right prayer. It is about being real. Because when you speak from truth, you align yourself with what is real, and that alignment is what begins to break the resistance. There is also something you must release. And this part may not be easy, but it is necessary. You must let go of the fear that has been holding you back. The fear of making the wrong decision. The fear of stepping forward too soon. The fear that things may not work out the way you hope. These fears have been part of the blockage. They have been the small openings that allowed hesitation to grow. But they do not belong to you anymore. Archangel Michael stands as a protector, and in this moment, he is calling you to trust that protection. To move forward not because you have all the answers, but because you are being guided. Trust is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the decision to move despite it. And that decision is what creates alignment. You must also pay attention to what you are holding onto that no longer serves you. Old patterns, old habits, old ways of thinking that keep you in the same place. These may feel familiar, even comfortable, but they are part of what has kept the cycle repeating. This is the moment to release them, not gradually, but intentionally. Because you cannot step into something new while holding tightly to what belongs in the past. There is also a call to act. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Now, action does not always mean something big or dramatic. Sometimes it is a small step, a decision, a change, a moment of obedience that shifts your direction. But what matters is that you move. Because movement creates momentum, and momentum opens doors that once felt locked. Archangel Michael is making it clear that this is not about perfection. You are not expected to get everything right. You are being asked to respond, to show willingness, to demonstrate that you are ready to align with what has been prepared for you. Because when you take even one step in alignment, the unseen realm begins to respond in ways you cannot yet imagine. And here is the truth that must stay with you. Delay is no longer your friend. Waiting without reason, hesitating without purpose, postponing what you already know you should do, these are the very things that have kept you in place. And this moment is your opportunity to break that pattern once and for all. You are closer than you realize. The breakthrough you have been waiting for is not far away. but it requires your participation. It requires your response in this moment, before the window begins to close. Archangel Michael is not standing at a distance. He is present, watching, guiding, and ready to support you as you take this step. But the step must come from you. Here is something you must feel right now, not just understand. This is not only about awareness or even action. It is about timing. Because there are moments in life when opportunities are open, when access is available, when grace flows more freely than usual. And then there are moments when those same doors begin to close. Not out of punishment, not out of rejection, but because the time assigned to them has reached its end. Archangel Michael is revealing that you are standing at one of those moments right now. A spiritual door has been opened before you, one that carries answers, alignment, and movement for everything you have been praying about. But that door is not going to remain open forever. In fact, it is already beginning to shift. The window is narrowing. The access that once felt wide is becoming more specific, more precise, more urgent. You may not see this door with your physical eyes, but you have felt it. It is the sense that something is available to you right now that was not available before. A feeling that things could finally change, that something could finally move, that what has been stuck could finally break free. That feeling is not false. It is real. It is the presence of an open door. But here is what many people do not realize. An open door does not guarantee entry. It only provides the opportunity. And that opportunity must be taken while it is still available. Because once the moment passes, the same door does not always reopen in the same way. Think about the times in your life when you felt prompted to act but waited too long. Moments when you hesitated, thinking you would come back to it later, only to find that the opportunity had changed or disappeared entirely. This is the nature of timing. It moves forward whether you respond or not. And what is available now may not be available later in the same form. Archangel Michael is not speaking this to create pressure, but to create clarity. Because clarity leads to decision, and decision leads to movement. And right now, movement is what is required. The door before you is not meant to be observed. It is meant to be stepped through. There is also something deeper happening as this door begins to close. The longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to move. Not because the path disappears, but because resistance begins to increase again. The same forces that have been delaying you begin to regain strength when hesitation returns. Doubt starts to grow louder. Distractions become more frequent. And what once felt clear becomes clouded again. This is why the urgency exists. Not because you are being rushed without reason, but because this is the moment when resistance is weakest and alignment is strongest. This is when movement is easiest, when clarity is highest, when the path forward is most accessible. You are not being asked to make a perfect decision. You are being asked to make a timely one. To recognize that this moment carries something that cannot be delayed without consequence. Because delay does not keep things the same. It changes them. It shifts the energy. It alters the flow. And it can move you out of alignment with what was once directly in front of you. Archangel Michael stands at this doorway, not blocking you, but guiding you. His presence is a reminder that you are not stepping forward alone. That protection is with you. That guidance is with you. That what lies ahead is not something to fear, but something to receive. But he will not force you through the door. That choice remains yours. And that is what makes this moment so powerful. Because it is not about what is being offered. It is about how you respond to it. Feel the weight of this truth. The door is real. The moment is real. And the decision is real. Do not stand at the threshold wondering what might happen. Step forward while the door is still open. Something is changing and you can feel it, even if you cannot fully explain it. There is a shift happening right now, not in the distant future, not at some unknown time, but in this very moment. It is subtle for some, overwhelming for others, but it is real for all who are sensitive enough to notice. Archangel Michael is revealing that this is not just a personal moment for you. It is part of a larger spiritual movement that is unfolding across many lives at once. His shift is like a current beneath the surface, quietly moving everything into a new position. What once felt stable may begin to feel uncertain. What once felt blocked may begin to loosen. And what once felt distant may suddenly feel within reach. This is the nature of a divine shift. It rearranges what has been fixed and opens what has been closed. But here is what makes this moment so critical. Not everyone will recognize the shift. Some will resist it because it feels unfamiliar. Some will ignore it because it disrupts their comfort. And some will completely miss it because they are too distracted to notice. But you are being made aware of it. You are being shown what is happening so you can move with it instead of against it. Archangel Michael is guiding you to understand that this shift is working in your favor. It is not here to confuse you or to create chaos in your life. It is here to reposition you, to move you out of what has been holding you back and into what has been prepared for you. But repositioning requires participation. It requires your willingness to adjust, to respond, to step into the unknown with trust. You may begin to notice changes within yourself. A sudden clarity where there was once confusion. A sense of urgency where there was once hesitation. A feeling that you can no longer remain where you have been. These are not random emotions. They are signs that the shift is reaching you, that it is beginning to influence your thoughts, your decisions, and your direction. There may also be changes around you. Situations that no longer feel right. Connections that begin to shift. Opportunities that appear unexpectedly. These changes are part of the same movement. They are aligning your external world with what is happening internally. And while it may feel uncomfortable at times, it is necessary. Because you cannot step into something new while everything around you remains the same. This is why timing is so important. The shift is happening now, but it will not remain in this exact form forever. It is like a wave. You can move with it and be carried forward, or you can stand still and watch it pass. And once it passes, the same momentum is not as easily regained. Archangel Michael is standing within this shift, guiding those who are willing to listen. His presence is not distant, it is active. He is helping to clear what has been blocking you, to strengthen what has been weak, and to direct you toward what is aligned with your purpose. But again, his guidance does not replace your response. It supports it. There is also a deeper truth within this moment. The shift is not only about what you gain, it is about what you release. Because as you move forward, certain things must be left behind. Old fears, old patterns, old versions of yourself that can no longer carry you where you are going. This is not loss. It is transformation. You are being repositioned for something greater. Something that requires you to be more aware, more aligned, more ready than ever before. And the fact that you are hearing this now is not an accident. It is confirmation that you are meant to move with this shift, not miss it. If you feel this movement within you, if you sense that something is changing even as you listen, then respond. Type "I step into the shift" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 882 is now released over your path. And as this shift begins to carry you forward, hear this clearly. This is not just about your journey alone. There are others who are still standing in confusion, still unaware that this shift is even happening. And when you choose to act, when you choose to support this message through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link placed in the description and QR code, you are becoming part of a greater movement. The word speaks, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." This is that moment. I feel it strongly. There is something within you saying, "I want to be part of this work." That feeling is not random. It is a call to act. Every seed you release becomes light for someone else. Every act of giving becomes a bridge that carries this message further than you can see. Do not hesitate when your spirit is being stirred. Move in obedience. Because as you give in this moment of shift, you align yourself even deeper with the flow of what God is doing. And what you release now will return to you in ways that go far beyond what you expect. Now that you can see more clearly, now that you understand the patterns, the resistance, and the urgency of this moment, there is one more step that must take place. And this step is deeply personal. It is not about what is happening around you anymore, it is about what is happening within you. Because the greatest shift does not begin outside. It begins inside, in the quiet decision to break free from what has been holding you back. For a long time, certain things have had a quiet influence over your life. Not always obvious, not always overwhelming, but persistent enough to shape your direction. These may be fears that you learned to live with, doubts that became familiar, or habits that kept you in a place that felt safe but limited. Over time, they became part of your normal. But what once felt normal is no longer meant to remain. Archangel Michael is revealing that these internal weights are not meant to go with you into what is coming next. They were never part of your true identity. They were attachments formed through experience, through past disappointments, through moments where things did not go as expected. And while they may have served a purpose at one time, a time has now passed. You may recognize some of these things immediately. The hesitation that appears just before you take a step forward. The voice that tells you to wait, even when you feel ready. The tendency to overthink, to question, to pull back at the last moment. These are not just personality traits. They are patterns that have been reinforced over time. And now, they are being exposed so they can be released. Breaking free does not mean pretending these things never existed. It means choosing not to let them control you anymore. It means recognizing when they appear and responding differently. Instead of listening to doubt, you move with trust. Instead of retreating in fear, you step forward with courage. Not because you feel completely certain, but because you understand that certainty is not required for movement. There is also something else that must be released. Your attachment to past outcomes. The moments where things did not work out the way you hoped. The times where you tried and were disappointed. These experiences have a way of shaping expectations, making you cautious, making you hold back just enough to avoid feeling that same disappointment again. But holding back also prevents you from fully stepping into new opportunities. Archangel Michael is calling you to release those past attachments completely. Not to forget them, but to free yourself from their influence. Because what is ahead of you is not a repetition of the past. It is something new, something that requires you to show up differently. As you begin to release these internal weights, something powerful happens. You start to feel lighter, clearer, more open. Decisions that once felt complicated begin to feel simple. Actions that once felt difficult begin to feel natural. This is not because everything around you has changed. It is because you have. There is also a strengthening that takes place, a quiet confidence that grows within you. not loud or forced, but steady and real. It comes from the understanding that you are no longer moving from fear or hesitation, but from awareness and alignment, and that confidence becomes a foundation for everything that follows. Archangel Michael stands with you in this process, not as someone doing it for you, but as someone supporting you through it. His presence is a reminder that you are not alone in this transition, that as you release, you are being supported, that as you step forward, you are being guided. But the release must come from you. The decision to let go must come from you, because true freedom cannot be forced. It must be chosen. This is your moment to choose differently, to no longer carry what has been weighing you down, to no longer repeat what has been holding you back, to step forward as someone who is ready, not because everything is perfect, but because you have decided not to stay where you were. And as you do this, you will begin to see something shift in a way that feels almost immediate. Doors that once felt distant begin to feel closer. Opportunities that once felt uncertain begin to feel possible. And the path that once felt blocked begins to open before you. This is what happens when you break free. There comes a moment, a very specific, powerful moment, when everything begins to change. It does not always come with noise or dramatic signs. Sometimes it arrives quietly, almost gently. But when it happens, you feel it. A shift, a release, a movement that was not there before. This is the moment when heaven responds. For so long, you may have felt like you were speaking into silence, praying, hoping, waiting and wondering if anything was truly happening beyond what you could see. But what you could not see was that everything was being prepared behind the scenes. Every delay, every pause, every moment of waiting was part of a larger alignment that had to take place before the response could be released. Archangel Michael is revealing that this moment, this response, is not random. It is the result of alignment. When your awareness, your willingness, and your timing come together, something unlocks. It is like a door that was always there, but could only be opened at the right moment, with the right position of the heart. And now, you are approaching that moment. You may begin to notice it in small ways at first. A sudden clarity in a situation that once felt confusing. An answer appearing where there was once uncertainty. A path opening where there was once nothing but obstacles. These are not coincidences. These are responses. They are the first signs that something has shifted in the unseen, and it is now beginning to manifest in your reality. There are also moments where the response feels immediate, where something changes so quickly, so unexpectedly, that it almost catches you off guard. Opportunities that come out of nowhere. Solutions that appear just when you need them. Connections that form without effort. These moments are not accidents. They are evidence of alignment. They are what happens when the timing finally matches the preparation. Archangel Michael wants you to understand something very important. Heaven's response is not limited. It is not restricted. But it does operate in order. There is a timing, a structure, a flow that must be respected. And when you align with that flow, you step into a place where things begin to move with you instead of against you. You may have heard stories, or even experienced moments yourself, where everything seemed to fall into place at once, where doors opened one after another, where answers came without struggle, where progress felt natural instead of forced. This is not luck. This is alignment in action. This is what happens when the resistance has been removed and the path has been cleared. But here is what must be remembered. This moment of response does not happen by accident. It happens because something changed within you. Because you became aware. Because you chose to respond. because you stepped forward instead of holding back. Every small decision you have made leading up to this moment has been part of what is now unlocking. There is also a sense of acceleration that comes with this. Once the response begins, things can move faster than you expect. What once took time may now happen quickly. What once required effort may now flow with ease. This is not something to fear, it is something to embrace. Because it is the result of being in the right place at the right time. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this moment, not surprised by it, but affirming it. He has been guiding you toward this alignment, toward this point where heaven's response becomes visible in your life. And now that you are here, he is reminding you to remain steady, to remain aware, to continue moving forward with trust. You not doubt what begins to unfold. You not question whether it is real. Because the same voice that guided you to awareness is the same presence that is now guiding the response. This is the moment you have been waiting for. Not because everything suddenly becomes perfect, but because everything finally begins to move. And once it begins, it does not return to what it was before. There is something you must fully accept now. Something that will bring a deep sense of clarity and peace into everything you have just heard. You were not brought here by accident. This message did not reach you randomly. Out of all the voices, all the distractions, all the paths your attention could have taken, you were guided here, at this exact moment, for a reason. Archangel Michael is making this clear. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. There are countless people who will never hear this message, not because it is hidden, but because they are not in the position to receive it. They may scroll past it, dismiss it, or never encounter it at all. What you did, and that matters more than you may realize. Because being in the right place at the right time is not luck, it is purpose unfolding. Think about everything that has led you to this moment. The experiences you have had, the questions you have asked, the things you have been searching for. Even the struggles, the delays, the moments of confusion. They were all shaping you, preparing you, bringing you closer to this point of awareness. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was meaningless. Every step had a role in bringing you here. And now that you are here, you are being given a choice. Not forced, not pressured, but presented clearly. To recognize what is happening. To respond to it. To step into alignment with what has already been prepared for you. Archangel Michael is not speaking to everyone in this way. This message carries a specific frequency, a specific call that resonates only with those who are ready to hear it. And the fact that it resonates with you, that you feel something within you responding, even if you cannot fully explain it, is confirmation in itself. There is also a deeper layer to this truth. Being chosen to hear something does not mean you are separate from others. It means you are positioned to act. It means you have been given awareness so you can move forward, so you can break cycles, so you can step into something that may also impact others around you. Because when one person aligns, it creates a ripple. It affects decisions, actions, and outcomes in ways that extend beyond what can be immediately seen. Your response to this moment is not only about you, it is part of something larger. You may have felt at times like you were behind, like things were not happening when they should, like you were waiting while others moved ahead. But this moment reveals a different truth. You were not behind, you were being prepared. And now, you are being positioned. Positioned for clarity. Positioned for movement. Positioned for response. There is no need to question whether you are ready. The fact that you are here means you are. Readiness does not mean having everything figured out. It means being willing to take the next step with awareness. And that is exactly where you are now. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this alignment, affirming that you are not lost, not forgotten, not overlooked. You are seen, you are guided, and you are being called forward at the right time, not too early and not too late. Hold on to this truth as you move forward, because doubt may try to return. Questions may arise, but when they do, remember this moment. Remember that you were guided here, that something within you recognized the importance of what you heard, that you felt it, even if you could not fully explain it. This is what it means to be aligned. Not having all the answers, but knowing when something is meant for you. And this was meant for you. Now, take a deep breath and allow everything you have just heard to settle within you. The urgency, the warnings, the revelations, they have all led to this moment. And this moment is not meant to leave you in fear or uncertainty. It is meant to bring you into peace. Because when truth is revealed and alignment begins, peace is the natural result. Archangel Michael is not only a messenger of urgency, he is also a guardian of protection. And right now, his presence is surrounding you with a calm that goes beyond what you can explain. You may feel it as a quiet stillness, a sense that something heavy has lifted, or a reassurance that you are no longer facing things alone. This is not your imagination. This is the result of alignment. You have been made aware. You have been shown what was hidden. You have been guided to understand what needed to change. And because of that, you are no longer standing in the same place you were before. Even if everything around you looks the same, something within you has shifted. And that internal shift is what begins to transform everything else. There is no need to rush forward in fear now. The urgency was to awaken you, to bring you into awareness before the moment passed. But now that you are aware, you can move with confidence instead of pressure. You can take your steps with clarity instead of confusion. Because you are no longer guessing, you are responding. Archangel Michael's protection is not something distant or symbolic. It is active. It is present and moves with you as you continue forward. It strengthens you when doubt tries to return. It guides you when decisions feel uncertain. And it shields you from what you cannot see. You are not alone in this path. You never were. There is also a promise within this moment that what has been aligned will continue to unfold. That what has been opened will continue to reveal itself. That what has begun will not simply disappear, but this promise is connected to your continued awareness, to your willingness to remain aligned, to stay present, to keep moving forward with trust. You do not need to have everything figured out. You do not need to know every step ahead. All you need is to remain connected to what you have now recognized, to remember what you have felt, to hold on to the clarity that has been given to you in this moment. Let go of the fear that once held you back. Let go of the doubt that once clouded your vision. You have stepped beyond that now. And as you continue forward, you will begin to see that things are no longer as difficult as they once were. That movement comes more naturally. That answers come more clearly. That peace remains even when things are still unfolding. This is the result of alignment. This is the result of responding when it mattered. Archangel Michael is extending a final blessing over you in this moment. A covering of peace, of protection, of clarity that will remain with you as you move forward. Receive it fully. Do not question it. Do not doubt it. It is being given freely because you chose to listen, because you chose to respond. If you feel this peace within you, if something inside you has shifted and you know that this message has reached you deeply, then respond. Type "I walk in divine peace" in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 1447 is now sealed over your life. And as this message comes to its completion, hear this as a living call, not a suggestion. What has reached you must now reach others. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy," and this is that sacred moment of sowing. I feel it strongly. There is a stirring within you saying, "I will help carry this light." Do not ignore that voice. Every act of giving through super thanks, every seed sown through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code placed before you, becomes a river of oil that flows into the lives of those still waiting in darkness. This is not a donation. It is a prophetic act of obedience. As you release your seed, heaven releases increase, protection, and open doors over your life. Move now without hesitation. Give as you are led, and step fully into the blessing that has been spoken over you.